Hey y'all, and welcome to another cup tutorial. I'm still a little congested, so please excuse my voice in this voiceover, but I'm going over how I made this cow tumbler. It's a 12-ounce double-walled stainless steel water bottle. So I started by sanding and spray painting it, but I had a few mess ups. So I'm just showing you how I went in with some acrylic paint to touch those up. You won't really be able to see it, so it's not all that important. I just wanted those spots covered with paint. And once all the paint is dry, I'm going to go over it with a mixture of Mod Podge and white paint. This will be the adhesive layer for the glitter to stick to the cup. And you want to make sure that it's coated very, very well with the Mod Podge and as even as possible, because you don't want any bumps or lines or anything like that to show, because it will show through with the glitter. Once it's fully coated with the Mod Podge, I'm just going to hit it super heavy with the glitter. This is just a random mix of a few different white glitters I had. And I put a sheet of paper under it so it catches all the extra glitter. That way you won't waste any. You can pour it back into the container when you're done. This is a single color cup, so I'm really just going as heavy as I can all over the cup. And you really want to make sure that you get the bottom. You can tip it up and sprinkle the glitter on that way, or you can just roll it in the excess glitter that accumulates in the paper underneath the cup. However you do it, you just really want to make sure that it's covered really well. I'm just dumping my glitter back in the container as many times as it takes, and just making sure that the cup is completely covered with all glitter. You don't want any bare spots or anything like that. If it's looking a little thin, just hit it with some more glitter. And once I let the Mod Podge glitter layer dry for about 2 hours, I went in with my first coat of epoxy. I'm using 10 milliliters of KS Resin liquid art epoxy. I really love this epoxy so much. It's super easy to work with and it dries super crystal clear with a glass-like finish. I torched it to pop any bubbles, and then I realized I really wasn't happy with the glitter coverage, so I went ahead and added another layer of glitter to really get excellent coverage on the cup. I let that layer dry for about 6 to 8 hours, and then I went straight into a second coat of 10 milliliters of epoxy. I didn't sand or anything in between. I just went right into this coat. I just want to note that epoxy is extremely toxic, and anytime you're working with it, you want to wear a respirator mask and work in a well-ventilated area. Make sure anytime it comes in contact with you that you're wearing gloves or anything like that. This stuff is toxic, and you don't want to do it just in a tight room or anything like that. Just make sure you're wearing your PPE. I'm doing a water slide decal on this cup, so I really wanted it as smooth as could be. I lightly sanded it and then washed it with some warm water and some dish soap and then put on a third coat. And this layer really did level it out. It got all the bumps and little dots out of it, and it was really smooth after this. I'm not sure if you would really consider this a hack or not, but I cut some white vinyl to put under the water slide because I really wanted the water slide decals to pop. And you can do them a couple different ways. You can mirror them so when you print them, they're backwards, and then you put them in the water and you can lay them face down. But I just printed mine regular and removed it from the backing and then laid it straight down on my white decal that I cut. And I just squeegeed all the water out with a silicone brush and just made sure everything was lined up and it was as straight and even as could be. You want to gently put a cloth or paper towel or something over it to remove any excess water. You don't want to rub it too hard because it will smear the decal. Once the decal was completely dry, I added another coat of epoxy to seal it in before I added my spots. And don't forget to torch it at the end to pop any bubbles. Alright, and it's finally time to place the spots. So I'm just freehanding the spot placement. There's really no rhyme or reason to anything or where I'm putting them or how I'm lining them up or anything. I just don't want any huge areas of white showing. So I'm going to add the spots in and just kind of try to make them spread out as even as possible. Some people seal their vinyl with a spray sealer or a urethane sealer, but I've never had an issue with my vinyl lifting, so I've never felt a need to. I just go straight into another coat of epoxy, and then I torch it at the end to pop any bubbles. Sometimes that layer is enough and they'll be ready after that, but this one had a few dimples in it, so I decided to add a 100th coat. And this is the final layer, and then of course I torched it at the end to pop any bubbles. And this is how my sweet little girl cow tumbler turned out. I really hope you liked this tutorial and found it useful. Please consider subscribing for more cup tutorials, and I do cooking videos as well. And if you have any suggestions of anything you'd like to see, don't hesitate to leave some down below. I really hope you'll stick around and subscribe, and I hope to see you in a later video. Bye!